So after meeting with over 200 broiler farmers, I found that most of the problems that they encounter could have been avoided if they knew one or two things here. If they have gotten one tip or another from somebody who has better experience in the field, they would have overcome those challenges. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 25 broiler chicken tips for beginners. Yes, if you are just starting your broiler farming or you think you have still not gotten a hang of the business, then these tips will be very useful for you. So let's dive in. Alright, welcome back to diyagric, your number one animal scientist and your poultry success partner. So today, 25 tips that will help you succeed as a broiler farmer, especially if you're a beginner. 25 tips. So let's quickly start. So what's the first thing on our list? Find out the best broiler breed. Yeah, you have to find out the best breed available. You don't just say all broilers are broilers and you just ask for broilers. No, you have to find out which is the best breed. And for that, I made a video already. I'm going to be leaving the link to that video right here, and also I'll drop it in the description below. And number two is you look for hatcheries with your preferred breed of broiler chicken. I think I also covered that in that video. If you watch that video after this whole thing, then you'll be able to get more knowledge on that. You need to look for hatcheries that supply the breed that you want, the breed that you decide to go for. And number three, you look for only reliable suppliers, reliable vendors. Yeah, not all vendors are reliable. As a matter of fact, vendors or suppliers make things difficult for a lot of clients, for a lot of broiler farmers. If you're buying 100, 200, 400 broilers, most of the times you are not able to buy directly from the hatcheries, so you have to pass through vendors, and some vendors will give you what they got from an unnamed hatchery, and they'll just sell it to you as broiler chicken from probably Agrited or Zatek, any of those popular hatcheries. So you have to be careful who you go with. And number four now, you have to prepare your breeding house, you have to prepare the heating devices, you have to get your medications and vaccination schedule ready, so you know, okay, you have a particular process, you have a particular program that you want to follow. That's very important. So you prepare, you are prepared before the chicks even arrive. So you also, number five, you get your disinfectants for the food dip and general sanitation. You don't want to do without food dip. The food dip is where you put your legs, you already put water with disinfectant, and then you place your leg inside it before you enter the chicken house. It's important if you want to maintain good biosecurity. And number six is block all crevices to prevent rodents, reptiles, and birds from entering. These birds, rodents, and reptiles, they are bad. Reptiles will kill your chickens directly. Even rats, rodents can kill your chickens. And apart from that, I made a video earlier where I explained that rats transfer up to 45 diseases. Rats are carriers of up to 45 diseases, so you don't want them on your farm. So you are supposed to block all crevices, all those cracks in the wall that rats can start to hide and all that. You have to block it. And number seven, you heat up the house to about 34.5 degrees Celsius before the chicks arrive. That is maybe a few hours, like 2 hours before the chicks arrive. You make sure that the brooding temperature is around that 34.5 degrees Celsius. It is very important. And number eight, reduce supplementary heat every other day until the supplementary heat is no longer needed. So you don't just maintain that 34.5 degrees C to probably 2 weeks. No, after day 1, 34.5, day 2 to day 3, you reduce it to about 33.0. So you have to constantly be reducing the temperature until after a few days you don't even need more than 29 degrees. So if you think you are guilty of any of these points here, if you think there's one of these things or many that you do wrong, go to the comment section and let's hear. And that's how we learn together. This is a community. And if you're here to subscribe to my channel and you are interested in poultry farming, or poultry farming is your thing, you want to ensure that you subscribe now. You can also hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to get my next video. And number 9 is you get a small thermal hygrometer. At least as a beginner, you have to get a thermometer to measure the temperature of the brooding house. Don't make that mistake as a beginner to just brood without having a thermometer. You need it. You need something like this. This is even a smart thermohygrometer that measures the temperature and humidity. What makes it smart is that you can actually monitor the temperature from your mobile phone, whether you're using Android or you are using iPhone. You can measure the temperature. You can see it from your phone. You don't have to be so close. You can measure it from, you can check it, you can track it from a distance. So it is very important. And that's number 9. Number 10, use good bedding or litter material. It is important to use something like wood shavings and make it thick enough so that you are able to manage the litter effectively. You turn it, it doesn't get wet quickly. It is very important. And number 11, know your floor space requirement. You need about 1.3 to 2.4 square feet per bed. You can choose anywhere between that 1.3 and 2.4 square feet per bed based on how long you want to raise the beds and also the prevailing weather of your environment. Also, you keep daily records of your broiler feeding, growth rate, medications and vaccines used. This is the only way you can be a business person. You need records of everything, so you know what is going in and what is coming out of the business. And you need to monitor your weight gain per week. That's number 13. Now you monitor your weight gain per week, as weight is your selling point. That's what you want to sell. You want to sell your broilers maybe at 3 kg, at 2.5 kg, at 4 kg. Weight is the most important, so you want to ensure that you track that weight per week and you're able to know, okay, am I meeting the target or am I behind? Do I need to push things? So you need to know all this. And number 14, you have to check your feeding. You have to know whether your birds are eating well or they are not eating well. You need to know the feed requirement for your birds per week. I think I have a blog post on that too on guidefreak.com. You need to know that. And then number 15, you need to feed your broilers ad lib, especially for the first 3 weeks. Ad lib is feeding 24 hours a day, so you feed them ad lib for the first 3 weeks, and depending on the weather, after 3 weeks you can decide to ration the feed, but it's important that they get all the feed they can eat in the first 3 weeks. And number 16, you monitor drinking water. Always provide cool water and prevent dehydration. One other thing that you need to add to that is that the spatial arrangement of your drinkers, very important. Your broilers have to have access to water. Once they look to the right, they see water. They look to the left, they see water. It's very important. And always make sure that the water is clean, cool and fresh. All right, so number 17 now, broiler chickens need more ventilation as they grow. Don't expect that the little air that is coming in when you are brooding is what they still need when they grow. You need to provide ample ventilation for them. Once they are out of the brooding house, you need to raise the curtains so much that the air from at least those two opposite directions coming well, and hot air is also going out from those sides, the sides of the house. And then number 18, watch out for common broiler diseases like coccidiosis and CRD. These are two common broiler diseases that you want to watch out for, and one way to know is what are the signs that you see when your birds have these diseases. I made videos on coccidiosis and CRD. I think I'll leave the link in the description below so you can check after seeing this video. Also, avoid spilling water on the litter. This is very important because spilling water on the litter will cause ammonia buildup, and then it will also cause coccidiosis for your broilers, and it's going to increase the cost of production and all those things. You want to try as much as possible to reduce the number of times you have to treat your birds. So not spilling water is one way to do that. Also, you use broiler starter for about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the number of weeks you want to raise your birds anyway. But if you are raising them for about 5 to 6 weeks, you just use the broiler starter for 3 to 4 weeks, and then you give them broiler finisher afterwards. Then you switch to finisher at 4 to 5 weeks. That's the same thing. And then number 22 says skip grower feed if you are raising your broiler for maximum of 8 weeks. This is just to buttress the point earlier. broilers don't need grower feed because the grower feed does not meet the nutritional requirement of broilers, so it doesn't help them grow well. And number 23, if possible, start marketing before your chickens eat 4 weeks. But I tell you, you even have to start marketing as early as your birds get to your farm. So you want to make sure that you have buyers for your product before it is too late, before you start being desperate and you have to now sell because you are desperate, you sell for a reduced price. No, you don't do that. You have to get buyers before you even get to that level. 24, make sure your broiler chickens are free from coccidiosis before you vaccinate. Yes, it is very important, especially before the second phase of the vaccine. You must have given the first Lassota, first Lassota, first Gumboro, and before you give the second Lassota, second Gumboro, you must precede that with treatment of coccidiosis, because during that time, most of the time there's coccidiosis trying to come up, and it starts within the bird before you start to see the signs. So it is very important that you treat them. And don't forget, you don't vaccinate a sick bird, and if they are sick within, you are not yet seeing it, and then you give them a vaccine, it may cause a breakdown. So many people have to learn this the hard way, but don't learn it the hard way. Just take this as the master guide. And finally, always measure drugs and micro ingredients with a digital scale. A digital scale will ensure that you get the exact measurement. You don't just assume or approximate. You don't use spoons. People use spoons to measure this and that. Don't forget that not all powders have the same weight. Even if you take a spoon of cayenne pepper, if you compare a spoon of cayenne pepper to a spoon of cloves, you still have difference. If you compare a spoon of honey to a spoon of water, it is different. So both liquid and powder, they don't have the same weights. So you need to measure with a digital scale. You can't just use your eyes to gauge everything. No. So if you think you've gotten value from this, so if you think you are guilty of any of these points here, if you think there's one of these things or many that you do wrong, go to the comment section and let's hear. And that's how we learn together. This is a community. And if you're here to subscribe to my channel and you are interested in poultry farming, or poultry farming is your thing, you want to ensure that you subscribe now. You can also hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to get my next video. So thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.